who joins me.
Oh, what's her name?
His name is Alfie.
So
He was my last rescue. I saved his. He's the only one who survived from the litter.
Oh God! I also have one rescued dog. It's a Shih Tzu. Oh yes.
All right, so we are live.
I rescued them.
Welcome.
I have six of them here. Plus 15 outside.
Okay, so we are live. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Ramzan Mubarak. I'm Anila Ali, CalPAC CEO, joining you from LA. This is the first of our conversations from LA to Karachi. And we hope that you'll be joining us in the next coming weeks as well. This week, we are going to talk about animal rights. We know in America that we love our animals, that every household has a pet, and we love them just like we love each other. They're a family member. But this is a sad time for the animals in Karachi, dogs and cats who are stray, and right now their plight has to be highlighted. They're in dire need of food, shelter, and love. So we're going to be talking to some people that are that care about animals, and one special animal rights activist. So let me tell you a little bit about CalPAC. CalPAC is a nonprofit that brings together Californians, Pakistanis, Americans who care about education in Pakistan, who care about Pakistan being a stronger, more resilient, a more educated society. Our focus is girls' education and women's empowerment.
वहीं से जाइएगा जहाँ पे वो पेट्रोल पंप है, बीच में से मत मुड़िएगा.
So we are joined by some amazing people. We have one of my interns, Zubia. She's going to introduce herself in a minute. And then we have Maria Wasti, who you know is traveling right now. She's made the time to drive all the way from where she's shooting, somewhere really far away in Karachi, and to her home and yet join us. So welcome, Maria. And then we have Samina Iqbal Qasim. She's also a CalPAC board member in Karachi. She's an animal activist. She's an educator like I am. And she's also an inspirational speaker. She's written books on Islam, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how as Muslims, this is Ramadan, how as Muslims we need to take this pledge and say, you know, we care about each other. Yes, we know we're interconnected right now, but animals are also living, breathing creatures that God has created. So she's going to give us some inspiration on how we can earn some good points with Allah during Ramadan and help them. And then I'm joined by Yasmin Ali Zaidi. She's right here with one of her rescued cats, and she's going to be she's the voice for animal rights in Pakistan right now, and she has lots of plans to build this voice, elevate it, so we can all help her here from America. So I hope that I'm going to give a moment to Maria, and Maria, tell us, not that you need any introduction because you're now famous in LA as well. You were there.
Oh, really?
You are very famous. So I want to just for people, my friends who are joining, who just love animals and weren't there on the Interfaith Iftar, could you please introduce yourself, say a few words?
Well, you've introduced me. I'm Maria Wasti. I live in Karachi. I'm from Pakistan. I'm an actor. And sometimes whenever I get some time, then I'm an activist. And when it comes to animals, because I have 2 dogs and one of them is rescued. So, I mean, animals are very, very close to my heart. And when we call a rescue, I think people who are bad to animals or kill them or are really bad to them, they are actually the ones who need rescue. And we need to tell them that this is wrong. No, seriously, they have dark hearts. How can you even imagine just hurting? I mean, we're not talking about human beings. We are very good at hurting each other and we take pleasures out of that. But when you talk about animals, they're not doing anything to you, you know. And I have just made a very, very detailed video in Lahore. It is happening, city of Pakistan, where they're culling the dogs with stray dogs. Now, it's a very detailed, we will be discussing, I think, why it's happening and what should be done. It's a very, very detailed video, and I will send it to you as well, Anila, that they're just killing dogs. Why are they doing that? If why are they neutering them? Why are they just giving them poison? Why are they did so many things? I'm just, going home and I can see so many stray dogs. And there are other ways of dealing with this. If you don't have a vaccine, rabies vaccine, if the dogs are not vaccinated or anybody who gets bitten is not provided by the government, the vaccine is not available. So what you do is you find this solution to kill the dogs, which is just not right. And so it breaks my heart, and that is why I want to be a part of this, because animals are really, really close to my heart. And I really want to do. There are a few shelters over here in Karachi where they're trying to do whatever they can, but over here maybe it is not a priority. So I feel that we need to we need to bring more awareness, empathy. We need to make people aware and conscious of a life, of a breathing life. If we are conscious of that, I think we'll change our lives. I mean, this corona is happening, this COVID has taken over our lives, and we are rethinking everything about ourselves. So why not this? This is also part of this earth and this system, and we are also part of this, and we are no better than them. So I am very, very passionately, I want to advocate. I am an advocate of this.
No, that's great, Maria. And the truth is, you're a human rights advocate, and I think that's so important, especially as a woman. I see other women from Pakistan doing the same, and globally we unite. We have a stronger, louder voice. And
yeah,
thanks for sharing that. I'm going to move to Yasmin now. Yasmin, tell me something about the work you started doing. How did it start? Tell us your story.
Well, before I go to the story, just on what Maria was saying, I'm on the same page with her. And just so that you know, the good thing about at least Sindh is that when the culling order just came out in Sindh, I stopped the order by calling the ministers and of Sindh, and I told them they can't do this anymore, because I've been trying to stop it for a very long time. And they stopped the order for Sindh. I made sure that the hospital, Indus Hospital, that is vaccinating the dogs, was given permission. And he did, as promised, give permission the next day. And she began her work, and she has been vaccinating the dogs, and we are collaring them. Then I found out that CBC was poisoning and shooting some dogs again. I've been in meetings with CBC and the heads of all those people, and I have even stopped them from doing it. And we've come to some agreements and terms. And I have offered my help with my vets and people, that if there's any problem, you call us. So we're going to be on a group for information. If they want us to rescue animals, we will even go out and do it. I mean, whatever we can do, we have offered our help to them. So actually, for the first time, the issue of culling has been highlighted this way here. And by stepping in and by literally going to the top-notch officials, it has actually been stopped right now. They know that I'm on it with them.
That's good. I think
so. That's a big achievement for now, but we are trying to get collars on these dogs, because they promise that if they have collars, they will not harm them. I made them realize how many of those dogs I feed. How many of those dogs are actually my dogs, even though they're in phase 8. I've just come from feeding a whole family, a mother and a father dog. I call Dawn and his mama dog and the 8 pups. I feed them every single day. So I told them, these are my dogs. Nobody can poison them. You just can't go and do that. And when God has given them life, who the hell are we to take their life? Who are we?
Absolutely.
You know what? God has given them life. And if we are taking their life, we are murderers. We are murderers. And we are sadists. And we are turning this nation into sociopaths. And you don't want to do that. And you don't want bad karma. We're already facing karma. We're already in COVID, Corona. In my eyes, this is all because of what we have done to the earth, what we have done to animals, what we've done to humanity. And this is payback. I prayed every day that something like this would happen to those people who are doing this and eating those dogs and abusing them. I couldn't tolerate it. And I almost feel like God has heard the voice of so many like us who could not watch these images, you know. And it's still going on. I see images I can't see. So that's why I've come out like very vocally. God has given us a position here. My husband's in government. They're doing things, but then I've always said that because we have been given this position, I am going to use that voice for animals. My focus is on them because they are completely neglected in this country, and I'm a hardcore animal lover. I can't see animal abuse. So whatever it is I'm doing, I'm everywhere. So like Anila said, how did we start? I mean, I've been doing this since I was born. Since I was a little kid, I've been feeding animals. I think it's innate and natural. We are born that way, especially when we have that kind of empathy. I sometimes say we are cursed because it is very hard to live in a world when you're that way and you see animals abused and hungry, and you see that not many people have that kind of compassion. They just turn their back and go, and it's so easy for them to turn their back on hunger. I just can't.
You're right.
And that's
Yasmin, I'm going to share a friend's comment. It's coming on Facebook.
Yeah.
Patrick just shared, leave the animals alone. People are usually the problem. Look how we made our lives a nightmare through killing every living species, including ourselves. And I think that's what everyone is thinking. So tell us what inspired you. What was that moment? Because I've known you, been in Karachi for a while. What was that moment you said, okay, this is my passion, I've got to do this?
Well, I've been at it on a daily basis. I rescue animals, I feed them, I nurture them. I have dogs. I believe that God sends them to people like us. It's almost like an energy, you know. And I've been doing this every day. But the thing is that when I say how it came out so highlighted in the open that I'm doing it, is it happened during Corona. They often say that, you know, during a crisis, usually people find their light, or it is often during a crisis that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And what happened was that when I had some volunteers and people I know, or actually random people who are now my volunteers, approached me and said, and put some videos of animals in pet shops here, that those pet shops were shut down because of Corona. And since all the shops were closed, that these animals are dying. Now, as it is, the shops in Empress Market, they are deplorable. Their conditions were always pathetic. And when I saw those cages, and when I saw on social media images of these animals and these beautiful Persian cats, one on top of each other in a cage, I could never tolerate it. And I had already approached the commissioner of Karachi 6 months ago, telling him that these shops should not exist. They're illegal. What they're doing is cruel. And I don't think any person with any kind of humanity can tolerate and watch this. So I want to raid these shops. So I'm
against zoos. I'm also in these countries. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you.
Yeah,
I mean, not like
well.
forests, not big habitats that you'll make. No, like we have over here.
Here, I don't.
They've not been feeding the elephants. The lions have died.
Yeah, I don't think
water.
Have zoos, especially in Pakistan and in many places, unless they were given beautiful habitats. I don't think we deserve to have a zoo. And my mother 30 years ago has tried
I'm going to go and come back. Sorry, I'm going to go and come back. Join you in 2 minutes.
Okay. And even the zoo in Islamabad had horrible stories. So we've been trying to, we were trying to highlight that. But what happened was that the pet shops were like a serious issue. Are we here?
Yes, we are. Go on, yeah.
So the pet shops were a serious issue because during COVID, especially, the shutters were down. These shops were closed and they had living things in there. So when this started coming out on social media, I immediately jumped and I said, oh my God, yes. I mean, if grocery stores are shut and there's cereal boxes, it doesn't matter. But when living things are in a shop, there's no way we can allow them to be that way in these horrible conditions, and dying of thirst and food. And so immediately I actually formed a group, and I involved some NGOs in it, and I said we got to do this together as a team, because this is not something that one person could have just done. But actually I realized in the end that no, you can, if you use the right resources and you tap, especially when we have access to government. So immediately I brought, I told my husband in the ministry that something needs to be done. These animals, they are in these pet shops, and we need to get shutters open. So basically right away the volunteers, the next day I sent them with food, through the commissioner again, who allowed us to open some, and then we send them there. I broke my quarantine that day. I only went into quarantine 5 days, and I broke it. I went to the stores to buy food. I sent these guys with food, water, milk, Dettol cleaning sprays and everything. Because when I saw videos of these shops, it was disgusting.
I'm sure.
They keep them like they keep chickens in a cage. And there were beautiful Persian cats, and there were dead rabbits on the floor and dead owls. And I gave an interview on the television as well. Owls that my volunteers said had tags of 1 lakh rupees, 100,000 rupees sticker on them, and they were lying dead because for 3 days or 4 days these animals were not fed. So some of them just died, and I have all these videos.
I'm gonna try and share some of the pictures that you sent me, Yasmin.
Yeah.
But what are you doing presently that you need help and funds for?
So basically, so we fed animals 2 days here, and we sent vets to this place. Then the government got hold of these videos that I sent, and finally through the higher officials, they finally opened the shutters 2 days later. But before that, we had fed animals even in the night. Through police, I sent people again, because these animals would not have survived till the day the government allowed. You see, they were dehydrated. So once we did that, we rescued animals on a Sunday. These were the animals that they gave us. They had already taken a lot of these animals away. So there is something fishy, that why they got information and why they've taken a lot of the cats, and dogs were not even there. And then the next day again, I rescued, just my team alone rescued 6 cats from a shutter. They were closed with birds on top. There was no window, there was no air, and these cats have been taken out. And actually they're with me right now. They've been with me in my garden for 1 month, and I have been taking care of them, because they had viruses, they had respiratory problems, and they're having all kinds of illnesses one after the other. And I've had the vet who comes regularly to check them. They've been on antibiotics, but they're still having problems. It's taking, I mean, they've been in such deplorable conditions that the recovery is taking time, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the day they were released, like the video that you have to see what they were is a before and what they were after. Their lives changed when they got freedom and they were in the garden and they've been fed on time. And I just love to see them free and happy. And I have yet to give them up for adoption because I'm still treating them. So people were giving me donations to provide food for them, because there's so many, and there's some in a shelter that I support called IPS. 25 to 30 plus cats, maybe more, and kittens went to that shelter. And at that shelter as well, I support, there are 80 dogs that have been picked up from the streets as well. And we need food for them. And for 2 months, that shelter could not give chicken and rice to the dogs. I recently went to see the shelter because they had no money. There was no donations coming in. And some of those dogs that were rescued, that were injured or, hurt on the streets, they were gaunt. So when I saw them, I didn't like to see them that way. And ever since I've visited the shelter last week and I saw them, I told them, no matter what, we will not stop their food. They don't like the dry food per se, because, that doesn't sustain the way chicken and rice, a full meal does. And it costs like 150,000 rupees to get the chicken for them, chicken necks or chicken um, in any form. It's cooked with rice because there's 80 dogs and we cook 50 kgs of chicken for them. So
Okay, so
it costs, very basic thing is it costs 150,000 rupees for that chicken. And I don't want that to stop.
No, that's why, Yasmin, just 1 minute. Zubia,
Yeah.
how can people donate to saving animals in Pakistan, in Karachi with Yasmin?
Yeah, so I created a GoFundMe and it's on the link of our Instagram page. And I think it's also on our Facebook page as well. Yasmin, I think what you're doing is amazing. I also have a rescued kitten as well. His name is Sushi. I rescued him myself too. I'm a huge advocate for these type of things, and I think what you're doing is amazing, especially since I've been in Karachi. You know, I've seen what the animals are like there. They're really nice, and they're really, really, there's so many of them, and they do deserve to be saved, just like what you're doing. I think everyone needs to step up and donate and help these animals. You know, they've been suffering for such a long time, even besides the coronavirus. They've been mistreated for so long in Karachi. People don't treat them as animals, they treat them as like, you know, like rats on the road, you know, and I think that's so unfair. You know, so what I think you're doing is amazing, and it's going to cause a huge difference. And I think we should also advocate more adoption for these animals, these poor animals that have been closed up and like shuttered up. They need a home, they need a family. And there's so, you know, like dogs, I understand, you know, it's kind of hard to keep dogs inside the house, you know, but it's so good that you're feeding them and you're helping them like flourish and like be safe during this time. But cats, like I feel like it's so easy for, you know, Pakistani families to adopt cats, you know, to like keep them in their homes. I think that, you know, people should like send more money to these GoFundMe that I created and help you raise money so you can get more food and you could advocate more of this like cause. And I think that would be really great.
And Zubia, I'm going to ask Samina Iqbal Qasim. She has written books on Islam. She is an educator. She's an animal rights activist, and she's rescued animals. So tell us, what does our religion say? This is Ramadan. We ask everybody to give $5 or $10 because it counts. Please tell us what our religion says, Samina.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much, Anila, for having me on this panel. And Yasmin, I must salute you for all the efforts, your good work that you have been doing in this cause. And may Allah give you a lot of success, and may Allah bless you in the hereafter, inshallah. Well, actually in Islam, mistreating an animal is considered a sin. And according to the Quran, all animals should be treated with kindness and mercy. And besides this, that human beings are allowed to use the animals only if the rights of the animals are respected. And the owner of an animal must do everything to benefit the animal. And the duties humans have to animals in Islam are all based upon Quran and Sunnah. So I'm going to quote the Holy Quran, and I'll give you the English translation. Now, in the Surah Al-An'am, ayat number 38, Allah Ta'ala says, "There is no creature moving on the earth, nor a bird flying on its two wings, but they are all communities like you. They breathe and they live. We have not missed anything in the book. Then to their Lord, all of them shall be gathered." So you can see that what Quran tells us. Now, there's another verse number 10 from Surah Al-Rahman. "And the earth, he has assigned it to all creatures." So it not only human beings, but to all the living creatures that Allah has created. And you will be surprised that even if you snatch a leaf from the mouth of an ant or an insect, it is not liked by Allah at all. So, and according to Prophet Muhammad, he always says that whoever is merciful, even to a sparrow, Allah will be merciful to him on the day of judgment. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was very, very fond of cats. And if you remember, you must have read it in Islamic history that there was a companion, a Sahabi of Prophet Muhammad called Abu Huraira. If you remember his name, why was he given this was not his actual name, but why he was given this name was because he used to own cats, and there was a male cat who used to sit on his shoulder, and he used to go about, roam about in the streets, and all the time that cat used to cling on to to Hazrat Abu Huraira radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So Prophet Muhammad had given him the name Abu Huraira, father of the cat.
Well, there we are.
So, and one more thing I want to tell you. This is a very, very famous hadith, that there was a prostitute who was standing near a well and was thirsty. She drank some water from the well, and it was a very, very hot day. Suddenly, she saw a dog who was panting due to thirst. She took off her shoe, filled it with water, and gave the water to the dog. The woman was forgiven due to this deed of kindness towards Allah's creatures. So you can see that, doing a kind thing to a living creature, to a dog, is also rewarded. It's sawab. So, and I really pray that many people, more and more people are inclined towards this, and I'm sure that they are going to help Yasmin in whichever way they can.
And Yasmin, I believe you're also looking for volunteers to sign up in Karachi. If they love animals, they can help you out.
Yes, what we've been doing is, ever since the corona issue started, you see restaurants are all shut down. They're all closed. So there was a time that some of these street dogs, although I don't think they get a lot of food, but you know what, somehow they survive, because when these restaurants are open and the restaurants make all this chicken and whatever barbecued stuff, they must be dumping it somewhere, and they go and they find the food. But when they were closed, there was a big problem. I mean, not only were the pet shops one issue, this is another issue. So it's been more than a month now, and these animals are on streets. And so what we do is that I gathered my team, my volunteers. I started giving them like a couple of thousand rupees a week, 2.5 to 3,000 rupees. It actually goes a long way. Say like $20 can actually feed 400 dogs. Like 100 dogs 4 times can be fed with a pot of chicken and rice. And I give that money to my volunteers. They actually source the food the way I do it. And they make that food, and they buy some milk and plastic containers, and we go to these locations and we've been feeding them. So we feed around 50 to 100 dogs at that location. We actually know them now. They come there, they come to us, and we recognize them. So that's the reason why I'm trying to get more and more volunteers. And that is also the reason why we're trying to get fundraising done, because to even give my volunteers, we need to have that money. This money is very well spent. It is given completely to the animals, and it is forwarded to people who don't have resources and don't have access to money, but they have the heart, and they actually take the time out, and they cook the food, and they take public transport, and they use other people's cars, and they actually go to places and feed them. I myself go to a location every night where I've just come from, where I feed a family of dogs and their 8 puppies and other puppies. But then I also go to another location, another half an hour from here, where the restaurants were all closed in a circle. There were like 30 to 40 restaurants closed, and there's like 50 dogs who regularly come there, and I've been feeding them. And it's just such a good feeling to just see their stomachs full of food. That's all it is. And I think all we do is we sleep better at night, because they can't give us anything, But I really believe that these animals pray for us, and God is really merciful when you help his creatures, especially the ones who can't speak and can't ask for food. Some of them are injured, so when we go to these locations and feed them, I also spot animals that are injured, that have a twisted leg, or my volunteers have found animals with ulcers and big growths roaming around that weigh 5 kilos on their body. They were rescued, even though my shelter doesn't have a car right now, and we're collecting funds to buy a vehicle. So, because with the vehicle, we'll be able to rescue animals from the streets. So there are a lot of issues. We really need a lot of money, and we're really desperate to have these resources so we can make a difference and we can change lives and help animals. So we spot animals that have problems, and we also try rescue them with whatever transport we have at that moment. And many of these animals have been brought to the shelter. The one dog that had a huge growth, a female dog, they have done surgery on her and it has been removed. So there are some wonderful stories, and there is some happy endings to some of these animals right now, but we want this to be more. We need more volunteers, more people, more manpower, and more funds, so that we can go out and make a bigger difference.
Absolutely. You're going to be the voice for animal rights. There's a message from Humad Nan, who's saying her husband found a cat, he rescued her, and we all need to advocate. And thank you for giving this a voice on Facebook. I think the more of us that we start talking about this issue, I personally have not thought about this rescuing animals. It's only when I saw Samina, who's my sister, she also had, I don't know, 19, 20 cats that she was feeding in her old house. And, it seemed very awkward at first. And then, we all understood that this is our duty as human beings. It is our religious duties. It's our civic duty. It's our human duty, because those animals that are stray are also living, breathing creatures. So I think it takes a couple of people to get out there, talk about it, and then it becomes also, somebody needs to take the lead. So I'm really glad, Yasmin, you taking the lead, being the voice. And Maria has she has a beautiful dog in her lap. Can you tell us about
This is my rescued baby. This is my rescued baby.
So sweet.
And you see, she had, a hair problem. All of the hair was, the hair over here, all of it. And I've been treating her for 1 year now, and now she has hair almost all over. And these two things that I have in my house, they've changed my life forever. I'm a different person. It's like they have done for me. I have not done anything for them. I'm seriously telling you, I have to come and, take them in my life when I get home, and it's like a ritual. They have changed my life. They're like my children, and, they have made me a different person. Sorry?
I'm saying because they're like babies.
Her name is Pugly.
Pugly or
Sorry?
Puggy or Pugly, as in
Pugly. Her name is Pugly.
Oh my God.
Pugly. Are Pugly. Her name is Pugly. Yes. And she's my life. Seriously. Okay. I wish I was my dog.
I have six rescue cats in my house right now. They are my live-ins. I have the 5 rescue cats from Empress Market outside, and I have another 10. There is no animal that ever goes from my house ever hungry. It has never been. Whether I lived in Dubai, in America, it never happened. And I love that about that country, that you don't see animals roaming around like that. It's very rare. But in Dubai, I used to feed animals, cats. And in Pakistan, no animal ever leaves my house hungry. Every cat, every dog that comes here is fed. I have 6 dogs that live in my plot next door that I feed every day, besides my own German Shepherd. So I think I'm feeding 50 dogs every single day on a regular basis.
How much does that, feeding them, how much does that cost on a daily basis?
a couple of thousand rupees, we try to give them fresh food, and I cook a pot. I call my kitchen like a soup kitchen for animals, because I'm making these big pots of food, and with chicken, rice, and carrot, and because first of all, it's the time and the quantity and everything. So like I said, $25 to $30 can feed 100 dogs. 100 dogs that particular night, wherever we go and feed. So there are cats I feed at a police station near my kids' school. That's a regular thing. I've been doing that for more than a year. I just fed them and I came. Then I feed the dogs across. So in rupees, when I give my volunteers 3,000 rupees, they use that for 1 week and they feed animals 4 times. Okay. And they more than 50 dogs that they feed. And these dogs are starving and they get a full meal that night, that particular evening. So, I mean, by donating, we can do a lot. But then, like I said, I also need funds for my shelter, innocent pet shelter. It's in Malir. It's like 600 and 600 square yards. 2 areas. One is going to be for cats. We are building a cattery right now and we need funds. We're making a beautiful cattery, just like you have in America, like a habitat. But the pet shop's one issue. This is another issue. So it's been more.
So again, all the GoFundMe's are on the Instagram link for anyone who's listening right now. Please go on the Instagram for CalPAC. Click on the bio. Please donate as much as you can. Go on Facebook, donate as much as you can. It will seriously help so much. So please donate.
And give you an estimate 3,000 rupees to feed the animals, the stray animals, for a week. 3,000 rupees is hardly.
Well, I just give one volunteer 3,000 rupees. So if I'm giving 10 volunteers, we need 30,000 rupees, right? So 10 volunteers means 10 volunteers are going to 10 different locations and we're feeding more and more animals. The more funds we have, the more animals we can feed. The bigger team we have, the more animals we can feed. Then we also spot the ones that are injured. Then we rescue them. When we rescue those, then they come to us, whether they go to the vet. So I have animals right now in treatment. We rescued a cat from a location that was thrown. Maybe she was abandoned because of corona or because she had breast cancer. She had wounds and she had maggots. We thought she won't live, but you know what? She actually fought for her life and she's made it. Yes. She's currently with my vet for 2 weeks. Her wound has healed and she is having chemo and she needed a last chemo shot that we needed to pay. I have not paid this vet as yet. Her bill for the veterinary care is open and we need to even take care of things like that. But this cat is healthier now. We're looking to get her adopted and she's looking so much better. We thought we had to put her down. So like they say, when God wants something to live and when there is God's will, nobody can stop it. So there are many animals, veterinary bills that we need to pay, including the ones that I have rescued.
I have a question from someone. How much is this cat's bill? The one who's got cancer.
You see, I think the bill is probably at least 10,000 rupees already, plus her last shot for the chemo that's was due. Just the cost of that injection, I think, is like 2,500. The vet had to give that because he said after this chemo, she should be good. And then somebody will adopt her. She's up for adoption. Anybody can keep her. She's a beautiful long-haired Persian and she needs a home.
Well, so I think to sponsor that cat.
Maybe like $100 and $100, she will. Her entire treatment is covered.
Inshallah, right, that's I'm a cancer survivor. So from me to that cat, may Allah bless that cat. So please think that I'm her sponsor.
Can I just add something, Anila?
Please do.
Yes. This morning, after a very long time, during the times of Corona, the lockdown and everything, I went for my grocery shopping to a very famous superstore in Clifton. And as I had finished my shopping and I was going out towards my car, I saw a cat. A cat, half of her fur had vanished. And it was a Persian cat. Somebody did not want to take her to the vet and just dropped her there. The people, the people of that store, they were telling me, the helpers, they were telling me that there was a couple who had abandoned the cat outside the store so that, it could just survive eating from places, here and there. I mean, believe me, I was so disappointed. I said, but
I
what
don't know
kind
how
of
people
people
can
they
do
are?
that. I'm shocked and I'm
Yes,
appalled at how somebody can do that. Would they do that to
I
their own
know.
children? I wonder,
Exactly, this is what I
because I
thought.
have taken
And
my
and
animals from
then
the.
this man, yeah,
I,
then this man came from the store, and he said that, Baji, don't worry, I'm going to feed her. But I said that, theek hai, you can feed her, but the thing is that right now you need to take her to a vet. And he said, Baji, vets to band hai Karachi mein. I said,
well, I have a
hospitals
vet
are
who's
open
open
and I'm
24.
sure there will. Yeah, but
We
anyways, thank
yeah.
God the cat was rescued and she was taken to a vet um, in, I think, phase 5.
Okay, if I would know, I would recommend the vet to you. My vet is Omar, and he's up. He's the only vet who's open in the night, and he has helped me
Really?
rescue a lot of animals. Yes, he's on Nishat in phase 6. He's the one who has the cancer cat. Who's he treated her. The one who's that cat was also abandoned. She was abandoned in critical condition, and he has rescued her. And he said she looks so
Hmm.
good. I have a picture, Anila, of that cat. I even had sent it to you.
I'm gonna
Um,
try and share some of the pictures. I'll do a quick screen share.
has
You can keep
pets, and
talking.
that cat is right now with him. And he said he was going to try and find a home for her. And anytime there is an animal like this, I recommend. I think that's one of our dogs being fed.
Yes, and
Um,
I'm
that's
also
one of our street
there.
dogs feeding picture or something. But Omar is the only vet who's up all night, literally till 2 and 3 in the morning, and he has been coming to my house to treat the rescues from Empress Market when I needed him, and even when the dogs, my puppies who have been attacked by bigger dogs, he went with me in the bushes in phase 8. So he's great, and he's been going to meetings with me with the Clifton Cantonment Board, where we've been talking about not poisoning animals and talking to them and educating them. And he's been coming with me in that as well. So he's part of my team.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anytime somebody calls us, I forward those messages. If I would know, like if there's a cat outside Aga's or whatever, because when I go to these stores, I'm feeding all these animals. I've been feeding cats outside TM supermarket.
I will definitely take that vet's number from
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
because it's very handy. And he actually goes to rescue them. He goes right away to rescue. He's one of the only vets I know who does this and rescues animals.
Yasmin, if somebody wants to donate money and they're in Pakistan, how can they reach you? What can they do? And the CalPAC link is for United States. I don't know if you can donate from Pakistan on it, but for all my friends who are in the United States watching, who love animals, who love cats and dogs, and who have a beautiful, warm, and fuzzy heart for them, please donate, because even if you give $10, that's food for these stray cats and dogs for at least a week, at least a whole bunch of them. So please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts. It's a lot of money for Pakistan, even if you give $5. And I know that each one of us can give something. So please go ahead, look at my link, go to CalPAC Education Services. You'll see the GoFundIt link, or just give me a call if you know me, you know how to reach me. What else can we do? So Yasmin, where can people, how can they reach you if they're in Pakistan and they do want to help you in this beautiful cause?
Well, they can WhatsApp me, and I mean, I'm on Facebook as well. And a lot of people have, ever since Corona the situation with animals for the shelter and for the rescues. A lot of people even paid cash fee, and we were using the money to even buy dry food. You know, the dry food that you get in America. We buy that as well, because sometimes we can't have the wet food with us. So I even take a bag of dry food and I give it in locations, and I ask them to keep feeding these animals. So they keep like a 1 kg bag, which costs like what, like 600 rupees a bag for that, for cats. So I think WhatsApping me would be the easiest way here, or getting in touch on Facebook Messenger, through Messenger, and then I can always respond and give them more information.
And then you can always message us on Calpac Education.
Yes.
We have a public page, and then you can message Maria. Everybody knows her, and we will connect you with Yasmin, because their plight is, it's dire, it's serious, and the money is needed right now. Now, here's a question for Maria and Yasmin and Samina. What can you do? And I'll start with Maria. What can you do to, one, bring more awareness, okay, in Pakistan about animals? Because there was an argument, some people used to say, oh, we hardly have money to eat, so why care about these animals? So keep that in mind and tell me, what can you do about changing that mindset, okay, and also changing laws? Can we do something about it? And what's your game plan for that? Maria, Yasmin, and then Samina.
The first thing is that I understand that a lot of people in Pakistan are below poverty line, and they are struggling right now with this COVID-19 situation. But how about not, if you can't give food, at least don't hurt them. Like, let them be, you know.
Yes, we can hear you.
And help them, or if she was saying, Jazz was saying, like tell the people, the concerned people, the rescue people, if some stray dog is hurting, don't kill them, don't put poison over there, don't, because you see, we are not understanding one thing, that the government, I mean, it's all over Pakistan. What they're doing is they're just they're putting such things there as well. And there have been cases in that I've known in defense as well, that some dogs have been affected by that. So it's not just, I have this little thing. This is a Shih Tzu, and she's not supposed to be on the roads. She was not made to be on the roads, and she was under a car. There was a patch over there, and she used to sit there and just bark at everyone.
Somebody abandoned her.
Put her there and left. Totally, they said, oh, we don't want that. Made me think about it. It's not. Dogs are used for hunting, and Muslim people have been using them, like your king, your older
Line, I can't.
So how's it it's your hand?
Maria,
My own,
using your voice.
I realize like that. The hukam was, I'm there. If anything, I've already recorded a very comprehensive message that I'm going to send to you too, and to Jazz as well. And wherever I'm needed, whatever you want me to do, I will be with you, of course. And because this is something very, very, very close to my heart. It is my these. So creating people, not just order them to do something that doesn't touch their hearts. You come together when people come to because of pain, whatever that is. Over here,
I'd like to add
neglecting
something.
pain.
Okay, I'm just gonna message Maria that her audio is going in and out. Yasmin, tell us what you're gonna do.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we definitely, this country needs laws against cruelty, and we're doing things at a micro level, like feeding them and rescuing them, and those things are there. But like shutting down pet stores that are keeping animals with, no ethics, and just this is just cruelty, things like that. And then the laws against cruelty, the videos we see of some animals beaten and shot, and I mean, these are just obnoxious, and they're unbearable. And so we definitely, my goal has been from day one is to look at the bigger picture. We need to have a law against cruelty, of cruelty against animals, for sure. And I've been pushing the government, and we will push this government and do what we can for that.
What are
That's
the laws presently? How do they protect animals? Do you have any laws in Pakistan right
I think we have some laws, but they're not implemented.
I think they're not implemented, but I don't think those laws are. I think they're obsolete. I don't even think there is some law, but I don't think it's passed, or they were very old or something. Because if there was a law against cruelty, um, we could have used it against them. But apparently there isn't. There
And
was
I also feel
kind of
that
reset as well, but the law has to be implemented, and we have to make sure that the law is there. But it's not so easy to get a law out there. As you know, the law has to go through the assembly, and but we gotta start somewhere, right? We gotta push it, because
humanity is universal. It doesn't need a law. So basically,
yeah,
maybe through schools, maybe through talking to people, because
yeah,
now you
is
see,
all
it was never a
different.
voice here. We are talking
that
about it.
that
I doubt it, but
I
we can make
I
videos about
I'm
it. We can, I think,
I'm
involve
I'm
younger people, children in it, and just create that feeling that is dead inside us.
I am
We have become
planning
so
to launch,
insensitive.
all the work we've been doing is going to be under the umbrella of the animal's voice. That is my NGO that I'm planning to, the name that we plan to use. And the goal of that is not only to do all what we're doing, but it is also to educate children. My mother
Yeah.
was from Switzerland, came here 30 years ago. My mother did all these things when I was a kid. I've seen her do it. She had poster competitions in schools here to educate children. So we need to do the same things, because unfortunately, nothing changed. It has gotten worse. I see children who don't, they have no compassion. They don't know animal love. My children are passionate
Yeah.
animal lovers, but around my three
Every
children,
kid needs a pet.
Yes.
That
I
should
don't
be the same.
see
And
that. I
really,
don't
every
see
kid
them
needs
having
a pet.
compassion. I
So we
mean,
have
there's
a
a school
teacher. We
with
have
1,000
Samina.
mothers. We are the only
Exactly.
ones who feed the cats there.
What do
Nobody
you do,
cares. In
Samina?
fact,
In your school, Karachi Grammar School, do you talk about
Yes.
animals and
I taught Islamiyat at KGS. I'm still there, but now I'm not an Islamiyat teacher anymore. But when I was an Islamiyat teacher, I used to always teach the children about kindness towards animal. In fact, I used to tell them all the Prophet stories. And if you remember Prophet Saleh alayhi salam, how he was blessed with a she camel, and he told the people to take care of the camel, and they never listened to him, and they killed the camel. And what happened? The whole the entire people, the people were killed by an earthquake. So, this is how we always used to tell them, that you have to be kind to animals. And even if you have a pet, what are the things necessary for you to think of, and having pets kept in the house, how you are going to feed them, how you are going to have healthy habits, and you must give them baths if you have a kitten or a cat at home, or a dog. So many children, they used to say that, oh, we are going to tell our mothers and fathers about it. So whenever I felt like, uh, uh, having a chat with my own children, I used to tell them that have a pet, give them a home, give them a lot of love, give them food, feed them well, and see how Allah Mia will be so kind to you. And they used to come and hug me and say, are we going to go in Jannat then? So, you know, these are the memories I have from while I was teaching Islamia to them.
Well, that's called grassroots change. I think we need to do that anyway. And perhaps, Yasmin, your first step in advocacy and getting legislators on your side, lawmakers in start with Sindh, because that's where you are, and is including education, animal rights education in the elementary school curriculum. Mm-hmm. And as CalPAC, we'll be happy to be on your side and support you in writing it and advocating for it. Because no matter what, if a child has that elementary school grounding that animal rights are important, things will change. They're not going to change because he's going to turn an adult in 10 years, but they will change permanently. So I think that might be a good idea. What do you think, Maria? Could we?
I totally agree with you. Once you have
instilling compassion.
Sorry,
Maria.
Yeah, I think it's going to change people, because once, you know, you're talking about animals and their their rights and their taking care of them, it changes a person's life. They become more, you see, they become more sensitive. And when these people grow up to be, adults, and they go into practical life, they're going to be different. They're going to be more sensitive towards their wives, their children, just a beggar on the road. Otherwise, it changes everything. So it's just a seed, but it will grow. But we have to start it from wherever we can and talk about it. The problem with us is we don't talk about, like, animals are a taboo over here. It's like a luxury some people have in their houses. Oh, I got my dog from there, and my dog goes to the salon and gets a blow dryer and everything. Now that's different. What about just animals around you, stray ones? Their lives, so we need to think about it like that. Like, dog owners or pet owners know that their pets are their children,
I wanted to add something that I was going to say that is very important, is that because I go to like the Daraksha police station every single day, and I feed like 15 of the cats there, and I do this on a regular basis. I have seen people change. It's not very common. You can't just inject people with compassion. I wish you could.
By doing something. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Wish you could inject them with compassion. I wish, especially in this nation, you could do that. Unfortunately, there is no injection for that compassion. But I have seen when they saw me adamantly for 1 year feed these animals, they stop me. The police wala stop me in the markets, and they tell me, madam, even yesterday he was telling me, madam, I want you to pray for me, because I think your prayer will be answered, because I have never seen anyone be so dedicated to. They say, aap jis tarah janwar ka khidmat karta hai, हमने देखा नहीं है. So, and I tell him,
this is the change. This is the change we are talking about.
Yeah, but I said, what? I don't do it for myself. I do it because I love them. I said, we are the ones who are lucky that we get their prayers. So people who are not doing it don't realize that they are very unfortunate. They're missing out on the biggest prayer from animals, from the mouth, from the heart of an animal. So I have actually seen people change. And this police station, let me tell you, is an example in this country, because first of all, it's been taken care of very well. But you know what? They take care of the animals there. I feed them, I give them bags of food, and I've adopted all those cats there. But when it was winter and I went in the cold, and even when I was sick, I went to feed them, the dogs from the street that are belonging to the neighborhood of Phase 8 and the cats, they all stay inside the police station with the police fellas. And it is the most beautiful sight. They never kick them out. They never shoot them. And they know that I'm a chaperone. And they also see me coming every night. So that has changed the psyche of the station.
That is a change.
And I've seen it. And they actually stop me about it. And every police wala always tells me, And I'm very known to all of them, the Raksha police, because of what I do. I mean, they found out later that I was wife of so-and-so, but first they knew me because of what I fed their cats every day.
The cat lady.
Yeah, the cat lady, or, I call myself cat woman. Prefer being called cat woman. Although I say it's not just cats because I feed dogs. So,
Or we can also make it very fashionable and glamorous to be sensitive. Maybe we should do a photo shoot with all these animals, glamorous one.
That's what's going to make people sensitive. But not only that, by the way, since we've been talking about cats and dogs, please let's not forget that there are donkeys used here.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I raise my voice against them as well, and I actually snatch sticks from donkey walas when I see them hitting them. I do not spare them.
Oh God!
And horses you don't see nowadays, but donkeys you see rampant, and they are carrying a lot of load. And I'm totally against all this. So when the law for cruelty comes in, a lot of these things will fall into checks and balances. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're hoping, right? And then poisoning is another thing. Poisoning was being done by the government. So I have been on them. And now both the entities, the Sindh government, since we are in Sindh, and CBC, that falls where the cantonment board falls in. Both are under my check. I have had meetings with them just last week, and they are working with us. They are listening to us. And now they know that there are these very compassionate people and people who are coming and explaining to them that this is not the answer. I told them, do you want more misery on your country? Do you want more misery on yourself? No.
Conscience.
I said, what we are going through is already because of that. Let us be humane. Let us bring a change in this society. Unfortunately, they told me how many people complain. People from defense neighborhoods go and complain, for example, because I have 6 dogs outside. Those dogs are collared, they are vaccinated, they don't harm anybody. They're the most adorable dogs, and they don't do anything to anybody. You know what? The problem is, it's the mindset. The most important organ of our body is our mind. Our mind can make us or break us. And it is the mindset which is the problem here.
And that's correct.
We look at things, and that's what needs to change. And for that, another thing that we want to do, that the Animals Voice wants to do, besides educate children in schools and give them a PowerPoint presentation or a talk, is that we want to use those 1-minute clips and stories on the media, on the channels, and educate the masses, because the masses are watching the television. Even a 40-second to 1-minute clip will educate these people that you don't throw stones on dogs, you don't cut their ears, you don't hurt animals, and then say that the dog bit me and he has rabies. That's not right.
Yeah,
I go down to I go to dogs. I don't know them. I go every night or every other day. I stand around 50 dogs. My husband was shocked when he saw the video, that I don't know these animals. I literally go down. You know what? Not one of them has ever shown me their teeth. They only wag their tail and they totally come to love me.
It's the energy.
I am taking a risk because they're street dogs, right? But I have faith in God and I have faith in my animals. And I know they won't harm me because I love them. And I'm here to feed them.
Maria, have you acted or been a part of any play or something that talked about this issue?
No, unfortunately, no, because this is what the thing is, that this is, once you don't talk about something, that means that it's not an issue. That is what the problem of our society is. You just put it under the carpet. It's not important, because over here a lot of very important things are not being discussed. So, and Yasmin would agree that once you neuter these dogs, these stray dogs, they're not wild. It changes something inside them. So they're not wild. So they're not really going to attack you. And I kind of studied about it because I was doing a campaign with a friend of mine in Lahore, where all these dogs, the Buzdar and all these people had, the commissioner, they had promised not to kill them. And then they started doing that, just as free. So, so a friend of mine asked me to help her with that, and I did. And I just don't understand. It is so easy. These are just dogs. I mean, it's not, an enemy invading your country. There are
We
ways to
need to
do it.
spay and
Other
neuter.
people
We
have
need
done
to
it.
spay and neuter them for sure. This is what I even told CBC, and they're talking about it. And we're trying to do a government level program. I'm trying to get the vet to make a program, and we're going to pitch it to the government, to the federal
If
government,
you
all
want
across.
me to be a part of that, I'm
Yeah,
there.
we need everybody. We need everybody's support. So we want to spay and neuter these animals because so that they don't reproduce. When they
They don't
won't reproduce,
they're not dangerous.
you know what? They don't even want to come and be born in this world. Why would they
Yeah.
want to be here? And I don't think they deserve it. So at least the ones we have, we want to spay and neuter them so that we can control the population and they don't get poisoned. That's for sure. And we need to do it at government level. Second thing that's very important that we need to do at government level, besides at the level we are doing right now with even the IPS shelter, is another shelter that we have. And now I'm going to be supporting that shelter officially, is we need shelters from the government. I mean, even the CBC people told me, if I can get a land and put these dogs in a walled proper place, they don't want them on the streets. I rather take them from the streets, and many of them go to a place, and I call it a sanctuary. I want them to be in a sanctuary, a nice green place with food and water. Why should they be on the streets in the middle of traffic being run over by cars and by being run over by ruthless, mean-spirited people who don't know how to drive? I mean, the problems here are endless. But somebody has to be the voice for these animals, and the more and more people who are a voice for them, more and more issues are highlighted, the more we can push the laws.
I think
the kind of things that are happening here are obnoxious when I hear about them.
Society, I think Pakistan will be more empathetic if they start thinking about animals beyond themselves. Because something that we do, America gives the most amount of money in charity. We are really charitable people, and we think beyond. And we think, okay, fine, I have to pay my rent, I have to pay this, I may not have money left over, but I can still give $5 or $10 or $1. And with that kind of mentality, if everybody starts giving towards, your campaign to save these dogs and cats and animals, and to also advocate for this, I think it'll be a very good start. So with that, I ask all of you that are watching us, my friends in America, and wherever you are, please donate $5, $10. And Zubia, back to you. Where can they find the links?
So again, the link is on the Instagram bio. Please click on it. Please donate $5, $10, whatever you can. It's also on Facebook. Please donate as much as you can. Every dollar makes a difference for these animals. They really need it, and it will literally change everything that is going on with these animals in Pakistan, inshallah.
I mean, also
I have two questions to ask, if you don't mind. The first one is, Anila, I want to find out if people can donate in Pakistani currency also.
I think if you want to donate in Pakistani currency, I'm not sure about that question because we're non-profit in the United States. But definitely you can just donate directly to Yasmin, and
all right,
I'll be happy to connect.
Great. And Yasmin, I want to ask, are you also registering volunteers for your cause?
Yes, we are asking people to join us, and we want volunteers, people who can take on their neighborhoods, and like they can take care of 6 to 8 streets. So if there are dogs and cats in their neighborhood, they can also feed them the same way. So that, and then another thing I'd said in a TV interview to people was here, especially in Pakistan, was that, especially during Corona, where animals are, there is no restaurants open, and there is no food being put out. Let's put a bowl of food and water outside our homes. If everybody did that, imagine every animal that goes in the neighborhood would find food and water. I begged people that please buy a mitti ka bartan, a mud pot or something, and put water and put food. If you're generous, buy animal food, buy cat food and dog food. It's not that expensive, but you can even make food and put it, or even your leftovers. Don't throw them in garbage cans. Please take that bowl and fill it outside your gate. There are always animals hunting and searching for food at night. In the morning, that'll be gone, you know. And another thing is, when you're giving donations, whatever the amounts are, I mean, just realize that when you give that $10, $20, $50, whatever, imagine the prayers you get for that amount of money.
Of course.
Imagine prayers.
Absolutely.
That money is going to feed these animals and take care of veterinary bills and help animals in a shelter. I mean, we have so many different things happening that depends on how much we can collect. It would be used in all these different areas. Even the shelter is in need of money. Like I told you, animals were gone for 2 months. The shelter couldn't feed chicken and rice. I told them to go ahead and make sure the dogs get chicken and rice this week. And I will, whatever it takes, I will provide them with 25,000 tomorrow. I'm going to pay them. But I need to secure the money for the whole month, which is 150,000 rupees, which is around like $800 to $900. Buys them a whole month of food for these 80 to 100 rescue dogs and cats, and another 40 cats. So 150 animals in that shelter get food secured, which takes a big thing off our head that at least the animals' food is covered. Then we are building a cattery. We're putting money in that. Then I want to put trees there. I'm trying to make that into a sanctuary. I'm trying to build sheds there. So because the sun is coming in now, it's getting very hot, so that there are places so the dogs can be separated. And I'm putting a tree in the middle, and I want to put a cemented area. All that requires money, so that the dogs can sit there. It can be washed and it's clean. So the shelter right now is a lot of sand, and I'm trying to section that into areas where animals can sit and be cool. So I'm making a sanctuary, and obviously I need money to make that.
So again,
and it all based
all
on donation.
Please donate. Everyone can give $5. For those friends who are Muslims watching, this is Ramadan. This is our time to multiply our blessings. Yes, we're fasting, but you know that these animals need our love. We can't be there to help them, but these are champions that you see on Facebook Live here that are willing to help out. Yasmin, we all salute you. Maria, any parting thoughts?
Well, you just talked about Ramzan. We are thirsty and we're not eating all day. So we know any human being or any living thing, when it's not getting that drop of water, what must be happening with them. So with that thought, because Ramazan, an ideal time to just rethink. Everything around is kind of forcing us, and they're going to be long-term goals, and they're going to be short-term goals. And let's just get together and do it. You know, it's like just making it a part of your life. When you see something such injustice happening around you, try and stop it and try to facilitate it in whatever way is possible. And everything is gonna. That's the tabdili we are looking for. The right tabdili.
So I'm going to share the GoFunded link on my website, on CalPAC Education Services, on my private and public pages. Please share it with your friends, especially those that are in the United States, because obviously that link it's a GoFunded US link. But if you want to reach out and give whatever, 1,000 rupees, 2,000, 10,000, and 1 lakh for her shelter, please go ahead and let any one of us here connect with us. Go on CalPAC, send us a message, WhatsApp us. I get a lot of messages on WhatsApp because our phone is public. I will be happy to connect you with Yasmin. She's going to be the voice for animals. And Maria, Samina, we're counting on you guys to do something solid that stays in the psyche of the next generation, so that we don't have to do this again. I thank all of you for being here, and please go ahead, click that find that link and give us $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever your heart desires right now. This is the need. And thank you for joining us, Maria, Yasmin, Zubia, and Samina. Thank you, everybody. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Khuda Hafiz.
All the best, Yasmin. I hope people listen to Anila and they donate more and more. पाकिस्तान में भी लोगों से मेरी गुजारिश है कि आप इस कॉज के लिए एक बहुत ही अल्लाह ताला को जो पसंद है चीजें, उनमें से ये एक काम कर रही हैं कि अल्लाह की मखलूक की खिदमत खुदा के लिए आप लोग जरूर दीजिए। रमजान के महीने से शुरू कीजिए। अल्लाह आप लोगों का हामी और नासिर हो, इंशाल्लाह, आमीन।
Also, very important is that for the next 3 weeks, the shelter dogs, we don't have the money to buy them their chicken and rice. So we actually need that as well. That's like really important. Besides our street dogs, besides the rescues, the shelter dogs don't have the 3 weeks money secure. We're actually waiting to collect that. So that this month, in the month of Ramadan, at least the food money is secure even for the shelter. So whatever people give is going to so many different noble causes. I mean, you know, and we're just talking about food. Here we have so many other things that we need to get, like the rescue car. We need to buy a fridge for the shelter so that the animals' food can be placed there. They have none of that. There's a lot of potential. And my goal is to develop that place. And inshallah, I'm sure God will help me make that place a beautiful home for these rescue animals. From that shelter, these animals will get adopted. So the shelter is one small thing, and we can make many more like that. But then we have our street dogs and we have the rescues, and you know, there is so much that has to be done. And unfortunately, we need money. Without money, we can't help anybody, even any human. So
Martha, I had a thought about, like, you rescued a dog. Perhaps making it very cool to adopt rescued animals. I think that campaign could be led by, you know, our stars in Pakistan. Maybe getting together and saying, I mean, look at the dog that you love. It's like your own. It's your baby. And
it's my baby, yes.
It's your baby. So
and a happy baby.
Kind of
very happy baby.
Television. I want to have a clip. That's always been my idea. That I even want to use, like, my children should go like to schools and do a PowerPoint and say that, you know what? Look, I rescued this animal. It was dying. Today, look how beautiful it looks. Look how it was. Look at how it is. It's thriving. It gives me so much pleasure and gives me so much love back. And if we all rescue animals, you know, this is how it is. I mean, they enrich your lives.
Absolutely.
And they change and they teach you compassion and love, and they give you prayers. So things like that. Yes. The TV is a very important tool to educate the masses, because that's where the problem is. They are not understanding. They have no compassion for animals, and we need to do that.
And
on the TV.
Can you zoom, show us your beautiful Pugly?
Oh, this is Pugly. She snores as well, and she is the queen of the house. I have another Shih Tzu, which I had it. I got it for my birthday. She beats him. She's the woman of the house, and she actually rules. I mean, she is. She's the princess of the house.
How old is she, Maria?
She's 2 now. She was only 1 when she was thrown on the road. And she had some disease on her. You know, there was no hair, fur growing, and it took us like going to different vets 1 year, and it took her 1 year because she was so afraid. She would bark and try and bite because she was defensive. And now she's so calm, and she has taken over the house. Like, she's the mistress of the house. Seriously.
And this is Alfie.
Allah. And
Alfie,
yes, I can.
There's another.
Us has the labs as well. We've got 2 labs as well. She bites like she them off.
How cute.
And
both of them are
brilliant.
brilliant.
Alfie's entire litter was thrown by people down my neighborhood. They threw the litter away from the mother. And I ran because the car was going to run over all of them. I rescued all of them. 3 died or 2 died. I tried to save their lives, but Alfie is the sole survivor of that litter. And look at him today.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cute.
so proud of Pugly.
Yeah,
I
I
like, you
know.
know, it's like you save somebody, you know, it's like, and
I
you
know.
see the difference, like everything
Yeah.
changed. She was defensive, she would bite, she would bark, she would hide. And now she's like, you know, she's my watchdog. She's
I
my
know.
guard dog. She goes and, you know, barks at the
know.
door whenever somebody comes. She's not afraid.
Beautiful.
They come around.
Pugly is beautiful, and the thing about animals, their love is unconditional. They will love you.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
And by the way, girls, my Bablu, the male kitten I had rescued a year ago, is exactly 1 year old, and he's healthy. He goes around, he plays around. He's a very cute little cat.
Wow.
And if you want any more, I have beautiful cats for adoption.
Well, I'll have to ask my husband before getting one from you. One of my rescued cats died when she was 12 years old. She was with me for 12 years. And Anila knows that how much she cried when my father passed away.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed as if, you know, it was a human being crying.
Yeah.
They know. They are. They
will surprise you. Animals really.
They teach you so much. Seriously.
Yeah.
They teach you so much.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's a sleeping time. She's my sleeping beauty. Okay.
Oh, sweet.
And snore.
Okay.
She snores.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So just one last reminder, please go to our pages, find CalPAC. It says Animal Rescue, and it's on Instagram as well, right, Zubia, on CalPAC Education Services. So those of you that are young and that are watching, and I know young people are truly into animals, my kids too, and my kids' friends, go out there and give us $5, $10, whatever you can. And for anyone else who can afford to give more, please give more. This is Ramadan. Even if it's not Ramadan, this is the humane thing to do. Give something so that we can help Yasmin rescue all these animals. And we trust that Maria's going to make it cool to rescue and adopt.
Absolutely. It's going to get in vogue.
Yes. All right. And we need to see more pictures of you and Pugly.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And Khudafez.
Khudafez.
Khudafez.